Hey everyone, it's Riley and welcome back to my channel for some more bullet journaling. So if you're new here, I post a bunch of bullet journaling content both in my own journal as well as custom journals that I make for other people, and those are available down through the link below to my Etsy shop. And today's video is a behind the scenes sort of video. It is the last day of kind of a 4-day series in putting together this custom bullet journal. So if you haven't already watched the others, I'm going to link day 1 up here, and yeah, you can feel free to check it out just to see kind of my process, get some inspiration for your own bullet journal, and hopefully you hear some helpful answers. In these videos, I've just kind of been answering questions that people pose on earlier videos. So questions about bullet journaling, questions about YouTube, questions about Etsy, questions about myself, whatever you like. Hopefully there's something in these videos that can be helpful for you. And if you have questions that you'd like to hear answered, drop them in the comments down below. All right, so jumping right back into this journal. Yes, this video is going to be sped up quite a bit, but this is just kind of a broader overview of kind of the final stage in my process for setting up this custom journal. So in the previous 3 videos, what I've done is I've set up all 6 monthly title pages. I also did like kind of the pre-work, you know, I get all of my customers to submit a Google form, then I take that form and I put it onto like a little journal spread of my own to just kind of consolidate it so that I don't need to open my computer and scroll through a big form every time I want to work on their journal, because sometimes it's just a few minutes here and there. So as long as I have the basic information in my own bullet journal that's always with me, I can pull it out and work on it for a bit. And then I go into the journal and just pencil in what each page is going to be in the top right corner. Then I work on the monthly spreads like I mentioned, and then I work on weekly spreads, and that's where I'm at right now. So I did a few of the weekly spreads in the last video, kind of day 3 of setting up this journal. Here you can see me patch an error. I just glued some doc grid paper that matches exactly right over top, so that you can't tell too much. But yeah, so right now I'm working on the weekly spreads for the month of August. This is a minimal doodle journal, so I'm not drawing the, you know, that globe design on every single page. I'm still using the same colors. And yeah, it is a very easy design to replicate. If this were a full doodle journal, you can easily just add those to the corner or something. I will say this right now is probably my favorite weekly spread to do in custom journals. I have, I think, 5 weekly spreads on my Google form that my customers can choose between. And I do have customers opt out of those ones and choose their own sometimes, and that's fine too. But this is one of the 5, and I think it's personally my favorite one to do. I just feel like it's kind of the easiest to customize the space, you know, like whether a customer asks for like just one sort of little feature thing on the side, like for example a task list, or 2 like this customer has her shopping list and her mini calendar, or even 3, like it's just a nice layout where everything's over to one side so you can easily adjust that space to fit however many things you need. So anyways, that's where we're at in the process right now. I'm finishing up the weekly spreads, and after this, what you're going to see in this video is I go on to do the yearly pages. I do those last. I just started doing that. When I started doing custom journals, I just left the yearly spreads for last, partially because they seemed the most intimidating, partially because I was just excited to jump in and start actually like doodling out monthly cover pages. And then now I feel like it just kind of works for me, because I feel like I kind of get the hang of what this journal is feeling like, you know, and if there are certain colors or certain elements that my customer mentioned that they really like, and I realized, hey, I've only used that a couple times, then I'll try to bring those kind of things in to the yearly pages as well. So it's kind of nice to end with them to kind of just wrap up the journal. Now this journal is a bit unique because my customer didn't actually want any yearly spreads, which I think this is actually the first time that that's happened to me. People usually want at least a couple, and on my Google form I give room for 6 yearly spread pages. I'm used to working in 160 page journals, so that's what my Google form is laid out for, and with that formula I have room for 6 yearly pages, and then I do add a 7th like their yearly title page. I don't ever count the title pages in what I allow people to choose, because it's just kind of assumed that it's going to be there. So with the yearly spreads, I assume that there will be a title page, and then I allow for 6 additional yearly pages. With the monthly spreads, I assume there will be a title page, and then I allow space for 3 additional pages. And now that I'm working in bigger journals, I suppose I could move that up to 5 additional monthly pages instead of 3. I think I'm doing that math right. I'm not used to calculating things that aren't 160-page journals, but that's just how I have it set up on my Google form. And so this journal will be unusual because there just won't be any yearly pages. I'm going to do a really quick yearly title page for her, but that is about it. So in the previous video, I mentioned my Google form that I use for customization, and I did get a few questions about that, both personally, like privately over on Etsy, and then also publicly in YouTube comments on that video. And yeah, so I just wanted to flesh out just a little bit more what I have on that form. And I've already touched on most of it. I have a section, I kind of have it split into sections, okay? So I have a section for yearly spreads, and then I just list a bunch of yearly spreads that I offer, and I always leave a section for other if they have their own thing that they want. So the things that I have would be, you know, like a health log, a reading log, a future log, monthly highlights, weekly gratitude, that kind of thing, and then other. And then I move on to monthly, and same sort of thing. I have a little statement at the top like, please choose 3 monthly pages. And then I list them, you know, like a calendar, a habit tracker. What other monthly pages do I have? Oh, like a budget or something. They can choose a 2-page calendar or 1-page calendar, whatever. And then I move on to weekly spreads, and I list the different types of weekly spreads. I have 5. And then I list some different like kind of boxes that can be on those weekly pages, like a task list, a shopping list, a mini calendar, a mini habit tracker. You know, there are other things. I'm not looking at my form right now, so I'm kind of blanking. But yeah, so those are kind of the 3 big sections. Then I have a section for theme. And so they get to choose each monthly theme if they want to. They can select however many months they have in their journal, select that many themes, or there's an option for like, Riley, you choose the rest, or there's an option for other, of course, where they can write in other themes that I don't have listed as options on there. Some of the options I have are just kind of some of my usuals, my go-to, like my jellyfish, that globe theme that you just saw, a cactus theme, those are really common. I think a Polaroid theme is on there because I used to do that one a lot. Here's the other thing about my Google form. Don't use it as like the holy grail. Like, I have not touched it since I started doing this. Okay, I touched it like right at the start when I was like, hey, this isn't working. But I've been using the exact same form for like 3 years. So there are pictures on there that are quite outdated of like old spreads that I've done. But anyways, those are kind of the 4 big sections, yearly, monthly, weekly, and then themes, where they get to customize all of that. And then I do also have a few kind of like miscellaneous questions that don't really fit within that. So first of all, I ask like, what name do you want on the inside page of your journal? Because it's not always the same name that they have on their Etsy account, whether it's a gift or they use a different username or something like that. And then I have them select which month they want it to start in, and I always suggest that people start at least 2 months in the future. For me, like, it used to only take me a few days to make a custom journal, but if I already had, you know, like 4 orders before that, it would probably take me almost a month to get to their journal, you know. So I just always recommend about 2+ months to, yeah, just to take account for those kinds of things, like other journals that I might be working on, shipping, that kind of stuff can all add some time. Another kind of miscellaneous question I ask is, for monthly calendars, do you like to start on a Sunday or a Monday? I always start weekly spreads on a Monday and then end with the weekend, because lots of my weekly spread layouts just don't divide well between 7 boxes. They divide well between 6, so that's just what I do. But for monthly calendars, people can definitely choose to have a Sunday start, which I personally do in my own journal. So that's another question. Another question is like, are there specific colors that you like? And then I have a picture of the Crayola Super Tips swatches of all 100 of them to just kind of get a feel of what kind of colors they like. Oh yes, I ask if you like stamps, washi tape, stickers, that kind of stuff, and they can kind of choose like, yes, I love it, use as much as you want. Hey, I don't mind it, you can use it a little bit, or no, please don't use any at all, only hand-drawn doodles. And then I'm trying to think, I think the only other extra thing that I really have is just a box for other notes, and oftentimes this is where people will leave, you know, like links if there are certain journal spreads that they found on Pinterest that they really like, that they want me to use as inspiration or something. And then once they've filled this whole thing in and it's been submitted to me, then I'll always go in and ask clarifying questions like I mentioned in my previous video. So it's not just as simple as, you know, taking the Google form and running with it, because there's often a lot of still just room for ambiguity, even if they do choose the spreads that I already have laid out on there. So as you can see, we've made it to the yearly spread portion of this video, and it's just this one little yearly page where I'm doing some roses for the title page. And that will bring us to the end of this journal. After this, I just like to erase the little pencil marks in the top corners and film a flip through, take some pictures, and then it's ready to actually pack up and mail off to my customer. Thank you all so much for joining me for another day putting together this custom journal. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.